Hello and welcome back to another quantitative chemistry video. This question is one of the hardest ones I could find. It's worth 6 marks. Please, when you're doing your questions, look at how many marks it's worth, because that's probably going to let you know how difficult these questions will be. This question is not difficult as long as you follow either the table method or whatever method you've been taught. So, starting with reading the question, I know it wants me to calculate the maximum mass of copper produced in grams. This bit's very important because if I look at the information they've given me 1.21 kilograms. So I know at some point I'm going to have to times this number by 1,000 to convert it into grams. So that'd be 1,210 grams. That alone is worth 1 mark. So if you don't know how to do any other part of the question, at least you can gain 1 mark for doing unit conversion. They haven't given me much information about the mass of copper, so I know I'm probably going to have to do my table and work out moles before I can do anything. So I've got 2 lots of aluminium plus 3 lots of copper chloride goes to 3 lots of copper plus 2 lots of aluminium chloride. Start by doing the table, ratio, mass, MR, moles. One other interesting thing about this question, they've asked me to calculate the limiting reactant. I'll come on to what a limiting reactant is in a second, but if I look at this mass and this mass, they've given me the mass of both reactants. So I need to work out the moles of both reactants. So I've got 108 grams of aluminium and 1,210 of copper chloride. I'm going to now just fill in any other information I can from the table. So I'm going to scroll down because the top part of the question is not useful. So it's 2, 3, 3, 2 is the molar ratio. I'm going to work out the relative formula mass, of which they've been nice enough to give them. So I've got 27 and I've got 134.5. As I work down my table, I'm going to divide. So 108 divided by 27 is 4. And 1,210 divided by 134.5 is roughly 9. Right, I now need to look at which one of these moles I need to take across to my copper, because don't forget, it wants me to calculate the mass of copper, my theoretical mass of copper. Well, to do this, I've got to figure out which one of my moles is smallest. And to work out which one is smallest, I can't simply just look at 4 and say 4 is smaller than 9, because the ratio between aluminium and copper is 2 to 3. So one way I can figure out which one is my limiting reactant is dividing both my moles by their ratio. And I normally just put this as NLR, for N limiting reactant. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 9 divided by the 3 is 3. And if we see 2 is smaller than 3, that means aluminium is my limiting reactant. Somewhere in your question, you're going to have to make it very clear that you've calculated aluminium as your limiting reactant. Right, once you've calculated your limiting reactant, these moles are the ones that we are now going to move over this side by using the ratio. It's the same as the last video. The ratio between the two, for me going from 2 to 3, well, I need to times it by what I'm getting to, divided by what I've started at, 3 divided by 2. So I'm going to times this number also by 3 divided by 2. So 4 times 3 divided by 2, or 4 times 1.5 is 6. Going to work out my MR of copper, which they've given me as 63.5. And now as I go up my table, I'm going to times. So I've got 63.5 times 6, which is 300. So the final answer is 381 grams. They've asked for it in grams, so make sure you make it very clear what your answer actually is. Normally, somewhere near the bottom of the page, there'll be an answer line with grams written there. So just write 381 on that answer line. I hope this has helped. Please remember, please remember to check all parts of the question once you are done. So it's asked you to determine the limiting reactant, which we've done. We've said aluminium is my limiting reactant. We've calculated the maximum mass of copper. Well, here's copper, so I've worked out the maximum mass of copper. They've tried to throw you off in this question because they've given you the MR of aluminium chloride. You don't need that. They were just being a little bit harsh. Hope this has helped. If you've got any other questions, please leave them in the comment section and I'll get to them as soon as possible. Thank you.